First day, it's good to have them out here. Yesterday, everyone reported, kind of went through our meeting schedule, and it's kind of good to get them back out here and see where everyone's at practice-wise. We're kind of in a on-ramp mode, if you will, schedule-wise, so a little bit more meeting time, but any questions?
Coach, obviously the news over the last week is obviously unfortunate for you guys. Are you guys looking at the current group you have, or are you looking to maybe bring somebody in?
No, listen, I think in all camp long, we're constantly paying it. We worked out receivers yesterday. So that never stops, but we're training with who we have right now.
You said it would be easy to give away some of the work you did over the offseason program. In general, what do you know about sort of the shape?
I feel pretty good. I mean, I think these guys, you could see it with their weights and the workouts we did yesterday. I think they're in good shape. And obviously, you know, we've got a whole month and a half here ahead of us, but overall it's good.
What's your take on having Frank Clark in now? And I mean, I know it's only been one day, but how is he looking?
One practice, hour and a half. But
your
it's good to have him
thoughts
here.
on having
Yeah, no, it's good to have him here. We were pleased we were able to sign him to help us with the pass rush. And yeah, it's good to have additional players like him, especially with his experience.
Javonte avoided the pup list as you kind of predicted.
Say it again?
Javonte avoided the pup list as you predicted. Are you planning to ease him in, or is he full go with reps?
No, well, listen, any player who had a significant injury a year ago, Bo and I will sit down and we'll have a group one, you know, and that would be someone like him. We'll have days on, limited days, day off. And so there's a process, and it won't only be with him. There'll be a handful of those players, and then we'll have a mid group of players that we'll have a set schedule with load management, and then the last group would be, you know, veteran players like Kareem. We have, you know, a handful of those guys that we'll be smart with. So he would fall into that first group of a planned schedule as he's recovered from a major surgery. But we're pleased with it, obviously, with his progress. We felt really good about it in the spring, and yet, you know, he put the work in.
Sean, where do you come down on the rule changes over the years with how few training camp practices you have now and 14 pads during the year and all of that?
I don't know. I was just talking with one of the players. One of the guys asked me what 06 was like or 07. So it happens over a period of time. You adjust, you communicate it, and you handle it. And they come up a little bit more with the CBA, the agreements that are signed. But overall, I think as long as we're explaining the schedule clearly and you're really operating with the same set of parameters that every other team's doing, you know, it goes all right.
I know Rodriguez's suspension was due to something he did last year when you weren't here, but does that change the message that you send to the guys? Do you have extra emphasis for it this year starting again?
Well, listen, early in my time here, we had a meeting on it. And so there's a handful of things that are mandated that we meet with our players on, a very number of topics. Obviously, this gets a lot of attention because it's new relative to our league. But we had that meeting probably, 2.5 months ago. Again, we review it again in this camp, and then we kind of go from there.
You think the punishment is too harsh?
Yeah, listen, I already talked about it, so we kind of already went through it. And next question.
Marcus Ware getting ready to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I was there when we drafted him.
There when you drafted him. What were your memories of him just as a rookie and then coaching against him later?
I got a handful of memories, some of them good, some of them not so good. Right, he was an immediate impact player, great makeup, everything that you look for, you know, well coached, well raised, disciplined, smart, very athletic. And then shortly thereafter, I went to New Orleans, and we played him a number of times, but the game that stands out is in our 09 season. I think we were 13-0, and we were playing them on a Saturday night. And he'd been out all week. The injury report, you know, didn't look positive, especially when it was a neck and a back. And so our Wednesday third down meeting, you know, normally we would spend a lot of time on how we're going to handle or nudge him and chip him, but we made the mistake of kind of overlooking that, and then here it comes game day, and he's running through the tunnel introduced. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, and he's got a sack and a fumble. And now that would serve us well later, because 6 games later in the Super Bowl, we went through the same thing with Dwight Freeney, who had an injured ankle, and we met till 2 a.m. as if Dwight was healthy and full speed, and so you learn some lessons the hard way. But I know how much Bill thought of him, and really anybody who's had a chance to play with him or coach with him, either be it here in Denver and Dallas, I think saw right away just all those traits that you're looking for, and much deserved.
Sean, how much is your job as head coach? You deal with the team in total, and how much is concentrating on getting the best out of your quarterback?
Well, it starts with the team, right? That's what the head coach does. And then it's an area that I work with, and part of that's hiring guys that I know and that are installing in coaching what we want, we believe. So I like the staff we put together. And, when it comes to the words throughout the week, mine will be not nearly as frequent as some of the other position coaches, and yet, there'll be times in a meeting as the week ends, closer to the game with play calls. But I think that can vary with each head coach, but it starts with being the coach of the team.
What went into bringing Brett Maher and Lenny in the last couple of years?
Yeah, we worked him out in the spring. At that time, we were a little bit off contract-wise. We like his talent. Obviously, he had a tough game, but when you look at his body of work, it's been pretty impressive. So we were happy we could get it done in time for the start of camp.
What's the deal with,
Limited a little bit during the offseason program. Do you have any concern about?
No, he'll be full probably in about 4 days, 5 days, maybe a week. And it's not the same hamstring. It's something from a workout more recently.
who was that player you just?
You were talking, he was asking a question?
Sorry.
Marvin Mims?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's the deal with Mike Purcell and his injury and any?
No injury updates or any of that. I'm never going to talk about injuries.
What about the depth on the defensive line?
Feel pretty good about it right now.
Even losing a guy?
I think I just answered that.
In regard to pace of practice, how will this training camp, first couple days of camp, compare to kind of what it was today?
Good question. Well, look, the tempo is what we're looking for today. What'll gradually change is the time out on the field, the amount of periods. This on-ramp, this was really quick practice from start to finish. But hopefully the tempo is something that you would say you get used to seeing, and you saw some of it today. And I think that's something that it's something that's really been important to us relative to how we practice offensively, and then what it forces the defense to do as well.
What has Ben DiNucci shown from the first the rookie camp days to then through?
I think the one thing is, we talked about it in a meeting, his ability to get in a huddle, out of the huddle, execute the play, get to the right receiver, distribute the ball. Nothing really flashy. He's a good decision maker. I think he's pretty accurate. You know exactly what you're getting, and his decisions and football IQ is really strong. And so those are some things that sometimes you can't appreciate till you have a preseason game and you have a young quarterback and the clock's ticking, and there's a calmness and a demeanor, a little bit more experience with him, although he's still young. But I do see the arm talent and the athleticism, and so someone we want to work with.
Sean, what does it say collectively that these guys came back in the type of shape that gives you some hope and makes you feel good about it? What does it say collectively?
Yeah, I think it's a group by and large, and I felt this way coming off the spring. I thought the offseason went well. It was quiet. Guys were working, and I think that these guys, they want to improve and want to be seen in a different way. And look, you get the taste of last year. That's over with, and it's a tough division. It's a tough league. But I think part of the part of the procurement of players is finding those guys that it matters a lot to. And then that becomes a little bit contagious, and then you have something.
Going back to rookie mini camp, this is the first time you were working with coaches. What has that process been like now as you prepare for training camp?
Well, listen, there's 8 notes here of things I want to make sure we're on the, we have a lot of coaches, we have a lot of trainers, we have, man, we've got a great support staff, fantastic. We just got to be on top of where they're at in the field, what they're doing while they're out here. And so we got to clean up a few things there. But part of that is coaching the coaches and just making sure we're on the same page.
Coach, what was the best part of your summer in terms of developing coaching techniques, personal life? What was the best part of your summer?
My daughter got married.
How else?
Yeah, so there were no coaching techniques. No, there weren't no coaching techniques. The wedding was good. Speech was good. Fortunately, the emotions came out with the last dance, and that happened before the speech, so it was easier to do. Obviously, it's always a proud moment when something like that happens. So that was good. Thank you, guys.